Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Sorry, I'm trying to make sure I get my right orientation for my face. I have like a couple of screens. It's
Okay.
glad to be here again.
You're
It's
welcome.
always a pleasure being part of the community here at Case Academy. And I think the QATechBro is something I really appreciate the efforts that the Academy has been putting up through the consistency, the push. I must say, you guys really motivate me. Big ups to you guys. Okay, so let me share my screen so we could get started real quick. Please let me know if you can see my screen. Desktop one, desktop two. Voila. Are we good?
Yes, we are.
Okay, so if you are you guys ready? If you're ready to get started, please let me see your thumbs up. Let's get some active people in here. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Just a minute. Let me get all my things in one place. All right then. We'll be getting started. So today we'll be talking about remote job readiness, what recruiters look for in global candidates. So we'll be proceeding, like I said. First of all, let me give an overview of myself. My name is Biola Akinsanmi, as you heard. I'm a software engineer. I have over 15 years of experience, over that actually cumulatively, but about more than 10 years of that has been remotely. So I've worked for with different teams of different companies across different parts of the world, from Asia, Europe, North America, South America, and also most importantly, Africa. Also, like I said, I'm a Nigerian, so I kind of understand how it is being able to work from here and also deliver consistency with teams in different parts of the world. I started working remotely even before COVID. So until when COVID started and it became more popular and then it became the norm actually. So I'm sure you all have an idea of what remote work is, like an arrangement with an employment arrangement that doesn't confine you to the office space. And the idea here is your deliverables travel over the internet and not you. You don't have to be there in person. So your value is not tied to your being there or them seeing you. However, it's also tied to your location, but by what you actually deliver. If I'm sure everyone, yeah, way older than there's no one born after 2020 here. You could be aware that remote work became more popular post-pandemic when COVID came up. I'm sure before the COVID thing, and I was talking to a few firms that or local companies that I have conversation with about bringing in some flexibility of remote work to their teams. A lot of them felt it was like some form of enjoyment, it was like a perk. Why should you do it? However, COVID came and then everybody just had no choice but to jump in. And I must say, since COVID, people say the world has not been the same. Tech led the way, and I don't think there'll be any major change in this going back anytime soon. However, for everyone in here, I'm sure you've been following what Kids Academy has been doing. I must tell you the opportunity is now for tech talents like you. So you have the access to global salaries. I'm sure you all like money. Global teams. This is also something I really appreciate. I've been able to meet diverse people, talents from all over the world, smart guys. Language hasn't been the barrier, but I also learned new cultures. It's really very interesting. And also, more importantly, work on global products. You're not limited to products that are just within your own country space. You explore new technologies, understand new things even before it gets to your place over here. And all this happens all from your home. So remote work offers flexibility and work-life balance. There's this concept I like explaining how you have your life and work-life balance. If you're doing a 9 to 5, your work-life balance is in perpendicular positioning, in the sense that you can't do two of them at the same time. If your gas is on fire and you're at work, you're at work. You have to call a neighbor. If you are married and you have kids and you need to get to the hospital, sorry, you're at work, or you have to either leave work. But remote work, when done effectively, gives you this at least a good chance of work-life balance, in the sense that in 2 minutes you are putting your pot of beans on the fire, sorry to use that example, or in 2 minutes you're coming back from the gym, while in the next 2 minutes you're jumping on a meeting or you're working on your deliverables. It gives you that way to balance your life. And so your lives, like your work and life balance are like in parallel. So that's a good perk that I'm sure a lot of people might want. So here is an overview of what remote work like in 2026 from some reports I pulled off. The links are down here in case you have access to this slide. 28% of the global workforce now work remotely. I'm sure during the pandemic, it was really way high, but it came down to 28%. But before the pandemic, I'm sure we don't think it was even anything close to 5%. 60% of companies are now fully remote. There are companies that are actually claiming there that they are fully remote. I'm aware of companies that they will tell you, in as much as they're even fully remote, they will help you relocate to any other country you want as long as you keep delivering. So they have a team that handles like their visa processing just in case you want to move anywhere else. So there are companies like that now. 92 million remote jobs are projected by 2030. That is going to shoot by another 25%. And this is just a projection. With the way the world is volatile right now, it could still even shoot more than that. 72% of recruiters find remote jobs easier to fill. One thing remote work offers is it gives you access to global talents. So intelligence is not limited by any country or location. So imagine you being a recruiter and now you have a wider net to reach. So recruiters actually really sometimes, if they are given that liberty, they enjoy filling those kind of roles because it's easy for them. So the TBA is what this means for you. Geography now favors the worker, which is you. You're no longer competing with Nigerians. Now, this is the thing you should note. You're competing with developers and QA engineers from India, Eastern Europe, South Africa. And this is not something you should worry about because surely with the right idea, with the right skills, with the right knowledge, you can win. If you're still with me, please let me see your thumbs up. Thumb. All right, then. So let's proceed. Um, so let's go to the part where we'll talk about understanding global recruiters, how global hiring actually works. Now, companies, like I told you, they really want to hire remotely, even the ones that are not fully convinced, because there are perks to it. Reduce operating cost is one. You don't have to run a big facility, energy costs, a lot of other risks that come in with running a full building, office times. A lot of things really affects you working in the office, and businesses see this clearly. Also, like I said, it gives you access to top global talent. You're not limited by location. You can access a smart guy in Brazil. You can access a smart guy in Nigeria. It just gives you a wider net to get the best talent from everywhere. There are times companies will do recruitment even locally. You realize they say, "Oh, where do you stay? Oh, you're in Kano. Sorry, we can't recruit you. You're in Kano." But imagine if there's someone in Iceland and you need the person on board in the next 1 week. Remote work gives you that possibility. It also allows you to scale teams faster. Like I said, if you have a wider net of talents to pull up, then you can get as much as you want. Also, this is also another factor. You can cover multiple time zones. Now, with the fact that you have teams spread across the world, if there are times where you need overlapping time zones or people to work within different hours, or you want to look global in quotes, and you don't want to have physical office everywhere, remote work gives that flexibility. You could easily have guys in Russia and everywhere working for you, regardless of their location. But still, in as much as these are good perks, you have things you also worry about. Poor, unclear communication, time zone accountability gaps. So time zone accountability, I mean, while these ones are sleeping, you might be working and then no one knows what you're doing or what the person is doing. Candidates who need micromanagement, no one wants to hire a toddler. So the fact that you can't even see the person makes it more complicated. So you want someone that already knows how to manage himself. Cultural or professional match. This is actually a major thing with most recruiters right now. You realize aside going through all the technical or the stages of interviews, there's one they call cultural fit. Are you someone that aligns with their values of the company? Are you just going to be someone that just come in and be the time bomb that will scatter it all? They have to be sure you're a good cultural fit. So in summary, the recruiters are not just asking, are you smart? Like, do you know how to code? Do you know how to be a good QA guy? Or instead, they're asking more importantly here, can you deliver without any hand holding? Do they have to spoon feed you? Do they have to chase you around? Can you communicate clearly? Communication is very, very key in the sense whereby you can't see him, you can't reach him, you've not seen him before, but how well can the person communicate? I've worked with people for several years that I haven't even seen, but we know ourselves like we've met like forever. Um, can you integrate into our team? This is also something I'm really worried about. Are you the kind of person that you don't know, have good empathy, you don't understand how they work, you just come in and you're having issues with everybody, or you just don't fit? That's also something they also worry about. So now, however, being a Nigerian, I think there's a lot of advantage for us. So this is why you're more valuable than you think. First of all, a lot of us, Nigeria practically, I'm sure everybody or most of us went to school with being taught in English, right? So our level of native English is pretty very high and is rare globally for most countries. I'm sure we have the Nigerian accent in quotes, but if you look at it closely, we have a more wider use of English than a lot of other countries. Most of them use it part-time, but a lot of us is like our daily means of communication, even in our place of work already. So this is your major advantage in joining any remote team. Also, the time zone is a kind of very sweet spot. Very sweet spot in the sense that GMT plus one is kind of a very good overlap with the UK timing. If you look at it, UK firms that want to work within the EMEA area, for example, our time zone is a very sweet spot because it matches with their working hours. And also, if you look at the US timing, by the time it's like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock here, if you want to work within that time shift, you can actually meet them up in their morning shift. So imagine you waking up, like getting into work from like 10 o'clock earlier. You've done some things knowing that your team is going to start coming on like 1, 2 o'clock in the US. You can still have about 5 hours overlap and still achieve good good deliverables within that time frame. Also cost competitive. So our economy, okay, I think this part is a replica, but the idea of cost competitive means with the comparing the Nigerian economy and the cost of getting a talent here in Nigeria and in some more advanced countries, you can actually agree with me that you get someone with some not cheaper per se, or I'll say cheaper, but like it's really worth something for the engineer over here compared to the life over there, or getting the same skilled person over there. Also, we have a booming tech ecosystem. You know, like Nigeria in particular has like Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt. We have a lot of tech hubs and also top tier developers. We have QAs, designers. Like there's a whole large um, array of tech talents of different specialties you can actually get in Nigeria. So these are advantages for us in Nigeria. Please let me know if you can see my screen. I think I've lost my display. Just give me a minute.
It just went off
Okay.
now. Okay, yes.
Yes, I'm using an extended display, so I think one of them went off. So where were we? Hope it's you guys are following.
Why
Please
you
keep
are
your questions
valuable?
till the end.
Why you are
Yes, so
valuable?
we just finished why you are more valuable than you think. Thank you very much. So, however, there are doubts recruiters have about African candidates. So first of all is infrastructure concerns. Do you have stable internet and power? I've heard of people where they'll tell you, let's make sure, do you really have fiber internet? Even if you tell them, oh, my internet is stable, I use 4G, 5G, they'll be like, we need a stable connection, like fiber connection. Then can this infrastructure be reliable across all the time zones? Are you available all times? It's not like, oh, when people go to work, my internet is only working at night. Do you have good machines to work with and all this? These are things they worry about. Trust and accountability. Imagine you picking up someone you've not seen before. Oh, I've seen a lot of bugs in my slide. Sorry. I'll correct them before I share them anyway. So trust and accountability says that can you trust the person to always be consistent? Will this person always deliver? Will this person always show up in the morning? I've seen cases whereby they recruit someone one day, and while they're still testing the person sees the amount of work and is like, man, I can't work here. And the person just disappears. So these are things they worry about. Communication perception is one thing to be able to speak, but do you know how to communicate clearly? Do you know how to pass your message clearly? Do you know how to listen clearly? Do you know how to use the different means of communication and use them as is? Because, like I said, you won't be seeing these people, but communication is the real butter that makes sure everything works fine. So your job is to actually remove these doubts even before they arise. If you can clear these doubts, you give them more confidence to actually keep you on their team. And every step of this talk show or this talk we're having right now will show you how we can go through this. So let's move on to 5 things global recruiters actually look for. So I've been able to put them up in these 5 columns, and we'll go through them one after the other. Okay. So the first one says proof of skill. This is how good are you in what you do. Communication, I've always emphasized this. Remote behavior. Can you work on a remote team? Experience and personal brand. So you applied with 200 people, but these 5 reasons are most likely the major factors they consider while you probably haven't gotten hired out of the 200. So let's start with the first, proof of skill. So proof of skill means you don't just say it, you have to show it, right? So imagine just saying, oh, I know React, I know Selenium, I know Python. Oh, I built a to-do app. Oh, I have 3 years of experience. It doesn't give them clear idea of what you know about this technology. It doesn't give them a good idea of what you've done. Instead, you have to be more detailed, put good context, explain in detail what you do, show it clearly. Oh, I built a task management app with auth using REST API integration and having about 95% of test coverage. And then I'd worked with GitHub and also had a pipeline that take this to live. You know, when you have this kind of conversations, they know, oh, this guy's a technical person. Oh, I wrote regression suite for 120 test cases that cut release cycle from 5 days to 2. They already know, oh, this person knows what he's saying. You're already showing it. You're not just saying things out of just saying it. So what actually works for QA engineers is, like, for example, share a good GitHub profile with a meaningful commit history, documented test cases. You can share the repo there. Bug reports clearly written, context, depth, severity, good details about your bug reports, automation scripts you've had, case studies, have all this information in detail that you can actually clearly break it down to people. So certificates doesn't just show it, or you just saying, oh, how I did this. I went to QA Academy. If you don't find a way of showing proof of your skill, it's actually not just going to give you that edge over a lot of people. So you have to just have that at the back of your mind. Secondly is communication, right? Communication is the hiring multiplier. So it's actually the main thing that makes things, give them confidence in taking it to the next place in getting you hired. So you have to make sure you factor in context, action, and outcome to deliver excellent communication. Context is you understand what you're trying to, the message you're trying to pass in, the area of knowledge or whatever it is you want to pass in. Action is what you're actually doing or what you've done about it, so they clearly understand your action around it. And outcome, either your planned outcome, if it's something you're planning to do, or the outcome which you've been able to produce. So most people just say, oh, I've done testing on many projects and I'm very hardworking and dedicated to quality of work. Anybody could say this. It doesn't give them anything to hold. They can't see how much action you've put in this. They don't even see the results of what what you've talked about is doing. So it's better you put it, oh, in my last project, I identified a critical checkout bug that was causing 18% of transactions to fail. You see, that gives them some nice attention. I documented it, action, escalated it to the dev team with reproduction steps, and tracked it to resolution. And that was good outcome. So you see, this alone shows them like this person, impressively, they can read this and understand what is going on, first of all, and they can see that they can confidently come back to you for updates because it can give them a clear idea of what is going on. So your English doesn't need to be perfect. You don't have to speak phonetics or speak like British or anybody, but clarity is what is the most important. And even written communications matter just as much as spoken in async remote work. So the point here is, don't just believe, even when you speak well and all that. In emails, in Slack chats, you need to know how to communicate clearly, aside you just speaking. So number 3 is remote behavior. Now, can you work without supervision? So imagine a situation, like I said, imagine someone that's supposed to, you have agreed working overlapping times of maybe 12 o'clock in the afternoon. till like 3 o'clock. They know, okay, this guy's going to be up for a 12 o'clock meeting. And there are some things they need to discuss on the sprint that are pretty much urgent from email messages that have been going on. And then the person just disappears for 6 hours, no updates, no information, nobody outside, nobody, they don't even know what's going on. They don't have an idea. How do you think they'll feel? This someone is hired and has a lot of things they are depending on. So this shows you don't have a clear a clear remote behavior. You need to know how to put clear communication or clear updates of what's going on. Oh, hi, I'll be out for 5 minutes. Hey, I'm ill, I'll be out till 6 hours. Do you need me to drop any information anywhere? This just gives them that you understand how remote behavior works, right? So red flags are waiting to be told what to do next. Oh, I've uploaded the test cases, and then you're waiting for them to tell you what to do next. You don't share your updates unless someone reaches out to you by Slack and say, hey, what have you done today? Nobody knows what you're doing. Slow replies. So imagine someone says, hey, can we get this done in 30 minutes? Will it be possible? And then you don't reply until like 5 o'clock in the evening. Disappearing without notice, like I said, no clear communication of where you are, what you're doing. These are really, really red flags. But it's very good when you can give them clear updates. Hey, here's what I worked on today. Even blockers. Hey, here's a blocker, and this is what I'm trying to do. Or, hey, I'll be offline for 2 hours this afternoon. If you need me, drop a message. Or do you need anything from me now? Oh, done. Here are the results of, here's what I've done. What next? Do you need help? I worked on teams whereby sometimes even just coming up to just say, just talk about something and just say, hey, how are you guys doing in the morning? Is because the idea is some of them encourage you to work as if you're in the office with them. So it's not too bad if you just come and say, good morning, everybody. This is what I'm working on today. If you have any questions, I worked on this yesterday. Has anyone found out this bug, or do you notice this? It just gives them that feeling of this person is one of them. And there's this concept I wanted to also explain. I've seen communication in remote work culture. So this is a model whereby you don't have to, so it's a workplace model where team members collaborate without requiring simultaneous presence, relying on documentation, video updates, and messaging tools rather than live meetings. So this is a very key part of remote work in the sense that nobody really expects you to be seated on your computers 24/7. However, you should be able to know how to source for information, know how to follow up documentations, and just come up for the just very important things. You need a short meeting with someone, schedule a one-on-one. No, not everybody needs to be like in one meeting, or you need to get instant, hello, how do I plug my laptop? Nobody needs that. You know how to work asynchronously. If you need something urgent that you need someone to reach out to them on Slack. If you know it's something that you need later on, send an email. There are different procedures to this, but you could read up about that anyway. In remote work communication, communication is how people actually measure your performance. Over communicate progress. That means clearly share your progress. There's nothing bad in clearly sharing what you're doing. And then don't let them see you as invisible. Let them feel your presence like you're one of them in their office. Like I said, I work with people that, because we communicate daily, is more like we know ourselves so well. There are some that we even talk about the shows they are going for. And that's because we've worked so well that we've bonded like we are one in the same office. The fourth one is experience. So when people say experience, you think, oh, I need to go and work somewhere first immediately. Meanwhile, you're just finishing Kids Academy for the first time. You're just getting grasp of some QA tricks. However, you don't need to have a job to have experience. And experience doesn't automatically mean employment. Experience actually just means clear demonstrated work. It shows you've done something. So you can have this done by personal projects, build real things, document them, publish them. You can work on 2-3 projects and put them on your GitHub profile. If you see where you could also offer yourself for freelancing or small gigs, sure, be quick to reach out to that, because all these add up to your experience. There are open source platforms where they even allow you to join their community. And if you can see areas you can actually add your little contribution, even in the conversations, or add some things to the repo by pulling up a couple of PRs, it actually shows some level of experience. Internship and volunteering, if there's a place they need you to volunteer, it's not about the money, but you're trying to build a portfolio of experience. So always look out for things like that. You don't have to actually have a full 9-to-5 job. So global recruiters respect demonstrated work, not just job titles. So the first thing I advise you today, are you guys with me? Can I hear your voice?
Yes, sir.
So,
Yes. Yeah,
so
me
I'm not
too.
boring some people. I'm not boring some people to sleep. So the first thing you can do today, this is a quick test you can just do. Go on Google, just type in your name and the role you think you are right now, and just see what you look up online. So the idea here is to fix your LinkedIn headline today. Just do something. Just look at how your profile looks out there, right? So on LinkedIn, for example, put a good headline. Don't just put job seeker. Put a summary that tells your story. Feature your projects, consistent posting and engagement. Being part of Chris Academy, I see when a lot of times they'll tell you guys, oh, post about this, tweet about this. Some of you might think it's just about, oh, Chris Academy, but sometimes it actually shows you your activity in this community. So on GitHub also pin your repos with real projects to the top. Have meaningful commit messages, clear README files that explain your work, contributions to other repos, have them clearly shown on your GitHub. And if you have time to put up a portfolio site, depending on your kind of skill sets, pull up something, have case studies, show processes. Don't just show what is done. Show, oh, imagine you building a small project and then you have a small block aside it and say, oh, how I went through this project, the technologies I used. These things you see just have trails of you all over the internet, right? You can put your clear contact details, how to reach you on LinkedIn, your GitHub profile, and all that. You don't have to put your date of birth anyway. Just your online presence is fine. And live links where possible. If it's a project that you think is live, you could share it. So just a few overview of fixing your headline. Like for example, if you're a QA engineer, you don't have to say QA engineer open to work seeking opportunities. You could put clear details of what you are, the tools you worked with, and the kind of things you're interested in. You can see these examples here for QA. It says helping teams ship bug-free software faster. A front-end developer, you put in the tools and the skills you have in there. Building scalable UI systems for global software as a service products. Backend developer, Node.js. So you guys could actually have these templates, and I'm sure you have the slides, and you can go through this, compare that with your LinkedIn account right now. So these are checkpoints that signal remote readiness. So the three of them are technical skills, which is, I'm sure in the QA guys like you guys, Selenium, Playwright, and all the tool skill sets I'm sure they're introducing to you, which are technical skills. However, more importantly, is also knowing how to use collaboration tools. Tools like Slack for asynchronous communication, Zoom for instant Google Meets, Notion for documentation, GitHub for your repos for your projects, Figmas for references for UI and the likes. So you should know how to use these collaboration tools, how to tag people on comments, how to document your findings across, know where to use what or when to use what, right? And also soft skills, which is very important. I can't overemphasize this. Clear written communication. Time management and ownership, be able to take ownership of something. They don't have to force you around. Problem solving is dependability. Don't just come in and say, I found the bug, and you've not tried saying, oh, I think you've done your own little research on finding out something. Giving and receiving feedback. Oh, I tested this thing and I think this is what I think about it. Oh, this our tool is out. This is what I feel about it. It shows you're part of the project, right? Proactive updates and reporting. This is actually very clearly said. So I also want to just do a quick talk on ATS. It's called ATS, the hidden gatekeeper. So ATS systems are like, a lot of you might have tried submitting your resume somewhere. Sometimes you might not have a human person review your resume or review your profile or find you online. In case whereby you submit your resume to a platform for a role, for example, as an intern or whatever, you have to make sure your resume or your CVs actually pass the applicant tracking systems, right? They understand it and they can see how to read your resume properly. So it could be traditional or AI driven. A lot of them are pushing the AI driven systems right now, but they decide even if you're worth seeing. So you have to make sure your resume is compliant for them to easily take out information from your resume. So there's something they call ATS compliance. So you have to make sure that your resume passes this. So make sure your CV is done well because it is filtered even before a human sees it. If it doesn't pass, sorry, the machine just flags you out. So what it's looking for most times is the keywords that apply from the job description for that role. Make sure it is simple and readable. Make sure you have standard sections. Section each thing you're putting in your experience, your skills with clear headings. No complex layouts. You're not doing any Photoshop or any colorful Ankara resume here. So how to make it friendly? Use simple formats. A Word or PDF is fine. No JPEGs or things that can't be parsed. Copy keywords from the job description. So when you're applying for a job, make sure your resume aligns to that job description for that role. So people actually even create resumes for each application they do, and making sure that the keywords from that job description is in that role. Use clear headings for different sections and different areas as you've grouped your resume, and focus on results and not just the responsibilities. So common mistakes is fancy Canva templates. You go on Canva, you just create something fanciful like someone's tie and dye projects. It's colorful, it's fine to the eye, but it's meaningless to systems like this. You have multiple columns, multiple graphics. You put your passport photograph when you were small to how you've aged to this point. It doesn't make sense to them. You don't have keywords that align to the job description. These are also big mistakes. You just have a generic CV you've been using everywhere and just send it. It's also just send it, you just send it like that. Nah. Like I said, also exporting image-based PDF or something that is not being passed by the system. So it's best to have it like in PDF or in Word. Are you with me, please? All right, then let's keep going. So this is just like a guide. You could actually use this to have like a 30-day or 60-day remote plan. That's a month to 63 months plan to get yourself ready. Fix your CV and profiles. So this means writing every bullet as result. Like you said, don't just say, I did this. Show the whole context of what you did. There's something called the STAR methodology. So you have to make sure what's the situation, what you're doing, the task at hand, the action you took, and also the results that came out. So update your LinkedIn headline also, clean up your GitHub, ensure it's ATS friendly. I'll clean that up. So also in the second, that's the first and second week, work on your resume and your online presence. Second week, build and publish one real project. Have something on GitHub. Do something that is technical. Pick one project, document it properly with a README, test cases, case study. Make it public. Share it. I'm sure you might have worked on some test projects if you probably go through any of Case Academy courses or any of their courses. And I'm sure from then on, you have projects you can have on your GitHub profile. Practice communication. Record yourself answering questions. Tell me about yourself. Write 5 Slack status updates. Practice writing emails with context, action, and outcome. Do this practice of what we've shared about how to have clear communication, right? In the 4th and 6th week, that's going to this the second month now, you can now begin to apply, but apply smartly, not just broadly. Make sure you create resumes for each of the roles. Make sure you select roles that fit you. Tailor your resumes for each of them, and then target them with the cover message. And even after applying, you can do a polite follow-up after like 5-7 days, just to see how they get back to you. They don't get back to you instantly. From the 6th week, focus on preparing for interviews as they come up. So like I said, the start stories, you have to now knowing how to give clear updates of what you did, the task that you worked on, the actions you took, and the results that came out. So know how do you work remotely, for example. They can ask you this question. You have to have even your own internet connection stable for interview. Imagine you coming for an interview that you want to work remotely, and halfway you are saying, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you see me? Can you see me? You already know that these guys will be like, they can't work with you, or they schedule an interview and then you come in like 30 minutes late, or they are trying to find you in the background of your video, or they see you with your friends chilling at the background for your interview. You need to prepare ahead for this. Just take it that you are ready for your remote work anyway. Okay, so these are just guides still on the plan. Someone asking you, tell me about yourself. So here, structure who you are, what you do, what you are looking for. Just 90-second max. Do rehearsals on phrases like this and see how well you can prepare for them. I'm a QA engineer with 3 years of experience in web app testing. I specialize in API and regression testing using Selenium and Postman. I'm looking to join a remote first team where I can bring quality standards to a fast shipping product. So these are like scripts just give you an idea of how you can actually use the STAR situation, task, action, result approach to answering questions. So in the second one, see, describe a challenge you faced at work. So you describe the situation, you make sure you capture the task at hand, the action you took, and the results. So you can see here, it says, in my last project, a regression suite was taking 4 hours to run. So that was the situation. It was blocking releases, right? I restructured the test into priority tiers and cut the critical part to 45 minutes without removing coverage. Can anyone tell me the situation in this phrase? So you can see it here. The station was actually, the regression suite was taking 4 hours to run, and it was blocking releases. And the action you took there was you restructured the test into priority tiers, and with that, you cut down critical path to 45 minutes. And the result was you cut down the path to 45 minutes. That's a really big jump from 4 hours, right? And without removing coverage or reducing coverage. So imagine them asking you a question, so how would you work in a remote team? So you could let them know clearly that you're already well positioned for a remote team. Oh, I send daily sync updates. I flag blockers early with proposed solutions. I keep my status and calendar current, so the team always knows my availability. These are just ideas of how you could actually flesh up some of these questions. Okay, so this is just more like the advanced edge part of it, a summary of how to like perfect it. Don't apply blindly, research the company and tailor every application. Show proof up front. Your resume, your online presence, your proof of work should be all done. Communicate like a professional, clear, structured, and no filler words. No in between. Follow up confidently. Unpolite follow-up letter after 7 days sets you apart. So prepare stories and not just answers. Don't just give bland answers. Make sure your stories have a good idea of context and it shows story of what you did, actions, and the results that you had from your stories. So have a niche. Don't just apply to everything. If you know it's QA automation, accessibility testing, performance QA, just show like you're a professional. When anybody sees your story and your profile, they clearly understand that, oh, this guy is already getting good at this. So someone less skilled than you is already working remotely, not because they are better, but because they are better prepared. So the key here is start getting better prepared. So be able to position yourself better. So closing thoughts over here. So remote jobs are not about location. I've said that. They're about trust, clarity, and proof. And 3 things you should start from today, like I shared. Fix your online presence. Improve how you communicate in writing and speaking. Build or publish one real project. Please, if you really want to get anything started, start on this from today. It's never too late. So you don't need to be the best in the world. You just need to be clear, visible, and most importantly, reliable. With that, I think I've come to the end of my presentation. If you have any questions, else